First on Fox, the accused mastermind behind a terror plot in New York spent time in Philadelphia deciding where to strike.
Last night, investigators arrested 4 men accused in the plot after they planted what they thought were explosives near 2 New York City synagogues. It's good to have you with us this evening. I'm Thomas Dree.
And I'm Carolee Halkett. The 4 men appeared in court this afternoon. They were arrested last night shortly after planting a 37-pound mock explosive device in the trunk of a car outside the Riverdale Temple in New York. They were also accused of planting 2 mock bombs in the backseat of the car outside the Riverdale Jewish Center. Police blocked their escape with an 18-wheel truck. Well, the FBI says one of the terror suspects came to Philadelphia 6 months ago to discuss targets.
Fox 29's Dave Schratwieser was first to tell us about the local ties at noon. He joins us once again. What else have you learned, Dave?
Thomas, according to the lead FBI agent in this case, the lead defendant in the New York terror plot discussed possible targets for terrorism with an FBI informant during a trip here back on November 28th. And there are some striking similarities tonight between this case and the Fort Dix terror plot investigation that just ended in convictions and long prison sentences. The criminal complaint in the New York terror plot says it was here at the Pennsylvania Convention Center last November during a Muslim Alliance conference that lead defendant James Cromity began talking with an FBI informant about which targets to attack in New York.
And that's a closer case than was the Fort Dix case, for example.
While in Philadelphia, Cromartie stated the best target, the World Trade Center, was hit already. Later in that same conversation, in a reference to a terrorist attack on a synagogue, Cromity stated, "I hate those expletive Jewish expletive. I would like to get or destroy a synagogue."
I see a lot of parallels to the...
Rocco Cipparone, the lead defense attorney in the Fort Dix terror plot case, says the New York FBI sting sounds just like the Fort Dix investigation.
A lot of similarity with respect to, for example, the background of the informant, the way the meetings were recorded, and the informant really seems to be pretty central to this particular series of events.
Cipparone points out that the FBI actually supplied the inactive Stinger missile and the inert C4 explosives to the New York terror suspects. In the Fort Dix case, FBI agents supplied the guns to the defendants to kill soldiers at Fort Dix. Those weapons were inoperable.
It seems to be that the government feels that it's got a successful model of investigation and prosecution now.
Authorities will not identify the FBI informant in the New York case. He struck a deal with federal prosecutors in 2002 on a fraud case and was sentenced to 5 years probation. Interestingly, Mahmoud Omar, the informant in the Fort Dix case, also struck a deal in 2002 on a fraud case and got probation.
It tells you that this person's already amenable to lying, being engaged in stealth, and deceiving people.
Now, Cipparone does not believe the informant in the New York plot is Mahmoud Omar, but the FBI will not comment on the informant's identity.
You know, Dave, I'm curious here. What do the experts say is the biggest difference between the Fort Dix case and this case?
Well, the difference is in the Fort Dix case, as soon as the FBI undercovers and informants handed over the weapons to the defendants in that case, the FBI busted those defendants. In New York, they handed over the weapons and the explosive materials, which were inert and inoperable, let them put them at the scenes where they wanted to make the explosions go off, then busted them, so they took it one step further.
You know, I found it very interesting that the informant in the Fort Dix case and the informant in this case were both convicted of fraud. Does that play any factor in this undercover
sting? Rocco Cipparone says, you know, that might be the ideal guy you want to be an informant in a case. But on the other side, if they're into lying and cheating and making up stuff, that's not good for prosecutors. And sometimes when on defense cross-examination at a trial, that can hurt.
I know you're going to stay all over this one, Dave Schratwieser. Thank you.